Hello there. Despite the big dive of the market, I hope you're doing well. You know, we've been in this situation before, and you pretty much know that it's temporary. You know, I really had doubts when I first looked at Bitcoin's charts for February, because I thought with all this good news we hear regarding the new regulations and that countries are buying millions of Bitcoin, I was pretty sure that there was going to be a bull run. But when I looked at Bitcoin's chart, it showed a different picture. Well, astrology was right. If you like, you can also follow me on Twitter-X. I do not post much, and the name is the same as my channel, Astrology News and Bitcoin Predictions. If you remember, 2 months ago, we had a challenge, and I asked you to predict Bitcoin's price for April 1st. The price for that is a personal horoscope. And you know, guys, you can still do that this month. Just leave me a comment. Well, it takes me about 3 days work to do this video, and it will take you a second to press the like button. You know, it really helps my channel. There's so much to say for March, but I will try and keep it short. Remember that the collective chart is connected to Bitcoin's chart, so I would suggest not to skip the first part. There are a few nice angles during the month, so it's not that tragic, but one thing for sure is that with Venus, the planet of money, love and values, going retrograde from the beginning of March until mid-April, the markets, but also the global economy, will be very volatile. Well, there are also 2 eclipses this month, one on the 14th and one on the 29th. Eclipses are really important in astrology because they are points of change. But I will let you know which of you are in for changes with these 2 eclipses. But also, Bitcoin is starting a new chapter, but we'll look at that in a moment. So Venus, the planet of love, money and values, will be retrograde from the beginning of the month until mid-April. But also Mercury, the planet of communication, the intellect, but also trade, will also be retrograde from mid-March until April 7th. Well, you need to know that in reality, planets do not change direction or go retrograde, but it's how we perceive them from Earth's point of view. The last days of the month, the planet Neptune, which is the ruler of Pisces and represents faith, inspiration, art, imagination, and compassion, moves into Aries. So what does it all mean? First of all, it's important that during this period, you are cautious with your finances and investments. It is not a good time for new beginnings or the best time to ask for a loan or a raise. But also, when you're making important decisions, I suggest that it's best to wait until you have all the information. But on the other hand, this is an ideal time for reviewing. Venus also represents love, values and pleasures, and being in Aries, that means self. So this is an ideal time to review the quality of your relationships, but the big question is, am I really enjoy what I'm doing? Not what your parents or your partner thinks, but what you really want to do that brings you pleasure. With Venus retrograde, many times we feel a bit lonely and not appreciated. And with Mercury, we may feel a bit frustrated because we feel that our plans and goals are not manifesting. There will be delays, of course, but because Mercury is in Aries, Aries is very direct. They say what they think. So be a bit aware of what you say, how you say it, and why you say it. Well, this way you will probably avoid any misunderstandings with others. The first full moon eclipse is in Virgo, and that's on March 14. Full moons in astrology represents completions and endings. Virgo is associated with work, productivity, but also health. But initially, we may feel shock or surprise with the changes that eclipses bring. But it's very important to remember that eclipses free us from situations that are no longer working for us. The positive thing in all this situation is that Uranus is in an auspicious angle to this eclipse, and this, in my mind, shows that we're able to find new ways to solve problems. But we can also expect surprising developments, especially in the area of money, possessions. Well, this goes for all of us, but especially if you're a Virgo, Pisces, Sagittarius, or Gemini, born around 2 days before or after September 17, March 4th, June 5th, and December 6th. Or if you know your chart and you have personal planets or your ascendant at 23 degrees of the signs I mentioned above. The second eclipse, which is a new moon in Aries, is on the 29th. New moons in astrology represent new beginnings, but with retrograde Venus and Mercury, have in mind that impatience and rash actions will probably boycott your plans. My suggestion is that it's better to wait after mid-April if you want to start something new or sign a new contract. And again, this new moon eclipse goes for everyone, but especially if you're an Aries or Libra, born around March 29 and October 2nd. The last days of the month, Neptune moves into Aries, and it will remain there until October. There is so much to say about Neptune in Aries, but in general, this means that it is time to go for our individual dreams and goals. Now let's look at Bitcoin. A reminder again that this is not a financial advice. And although I practice astrology for 40 years now, and my predictions for the previous month were quite accurate, Bitcoin is really hard to predict, and I could easily make a mistake. Also, soon I will start working on my Bitcoin's future prediction that will cover the months May, June, and July. Well, because of the situation of the market, this time I lowered the price almost to 50% just to make it more affordable to everyone. So if you're interested, you can get in touch with me. My email is in the description. Or in case you want to have your own horoscope and predictions, just send me a message. As I mentioned, Bitcoin begins a new chapter in March, and I will explain what I mean. Well, those of you who've been following me for a while, I'm not sure if you remember, but I mentioned it several times in previous videos that in 2024 and 25, Bitcoin's progress sun will conjunct Jupiter. Jupiter is the largest planet of our solar system, and it symbolizes expansion. Well, this aspect shows that Bitcoin will be more popular and well known during this period. You can see it also on the map on your screen. The progress sun, that's the 2023 map, was at 2755. You cannot see Jupiter very clearly, but it's sitting at 29 degrees. So Bitcoin belongs to the sun, to the sign of Capricorn. And on the 14th, actually it's the day of the eclipse, the progress sun will move into the sign of Aquarius, and it will remain there for the next 30 years. You can see this on the next map. Let's say if Bitcoin was a person, it shows that for the past 16 years as a Capricorn, Bitcoin was trying to be established, figure out the rules, and be successful. That's the Capricorn nature. Now, Aquarius represents, and you see the progress sun, it's at 0, in the sign of Aquarius. Now, Aquarius represents society, teamwork, and networking. Well, the way I see it is that in this new chapter in Aquarius, Bitcoin will be more widely accepted, serving humanity. And that's what Aquarius represents. As a sign, Aquarius is very humanitarian, and its aim is to serve and do good for humanity. The change of a chapter is also shown by the opposition of Saturn to Bitcoin Saturn in a different chart called the transits chart. Well, March in general does not look very positive for Bitcoin. The third week looks a bit better. I have not looked at it in detail, but I believe June looks quite auspicious for Bitcoin. So we need to be patient, I guess. The planet Pluto is also at the midpoint of Bitcoin Sun and Neptune, which is not a very favorable placement. Jupiter is also in an aspect called quincunx to Bitcoin Sun the first couple of weeks. So we may feel undecided if we should sell or not. Although the first couple of days there are some challenging aspects, from the 3rd until around the 7th or 8th, there are some couple of nice aspects. The Sun is in a nice aspect to Bitcoin Sun, the Moon makes a nice angle to Jupiter, so it looks a bit better, but with no Venus aspect, I do not expect anything major. Now, from the 9th until around the 19th, 1 or 2 days before or after, there are no signs that show anything positive for the price, so I have the feeling that it's going to be another correction. Things might get a little better from the 21st until the 25th. The price, I believe, will probably go sideways, but again, I don't expect much. From the 26th until probably the end of the month, well, this time looks a bit better. The nice aspect of Mars to Bitcoin's Uranus and Saturn. Venus also is still retrograde, but it makes a nice angle to Jupiter and Pluto. Well, Pluto, although it's sitting in the midpoint of Bitcoin's Sun and Neptune, is in a nice angle to Bitcoin's Moon. So, I'm sorry if I disappointed you with my predictions, but please take this month my predictions. I think the correct expression is with grain of salt, because there's so much happening. It's very difficult to make accurate predictions. At the same time, there are really difficult aspects, but my suggestion is have patience, because I'm sure that things will get better soon. So, my friends, until next time, thank you for being here. Take care. Bye.